Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said today that Israel intends to take control of all of Gaza and hand it over to Arab forces to govern. He met with his security cabinet to discuss the possibility of the military expansion into the area.
We don't want to keep it. We want to have a security perimeter. We don't want to govern it. We don't want to be there as a governing body. We want to hand it over to Arab forces that will govern it properly.
Joining me now is Randa, a non-resident senior fellow at the Foreign Policy Institute at Johns Hopkins University. Jon Allen was Canada's ambassador to Israel and is now a senior fellow at the Bill Graham Center for Contemporary International History. Mr. Allen, I'm going to start with you. When the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel wants to take military control of all of Gaza, although it wouldn't govern it, he says this is about creating a security perimeter. What do you make of his statement in this moment?
It's interesting because it's the first time we've heard that he has some idea for a day after that he does want the international community to come in. But before that's going to happen, he is going to be displacing the entire Gazan population into an area that is 1/4 of the total area of Gaza. Gaza is about the size of Detroit, and he'll be forcing all 2.1 million Gazans into that area. The humanitarian situation has not changed. The crisis is still on, and nothing appears to be being done about it, although Donald Trump claims he's going to do something. And you've got the situation where the hostages are now going to be threatened more than they were previously. The only way hostages have been let out has been through negotiations, and that's not happening now. There's going to be more military activity. The soldiers, the IDF soldiers, have been fighting for 21 months. They're exhausted. The Chief of Defense Staff has said he opposes this move. So did the Minister of Foreign Affairs. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's been criticized by the Brits, the Europeans, and I'm hoping it will be by Canada shortly.
Ms. Salim, I want to ask you, Benjamin Netanyahu also says that Israel will hand control of Gaza to Arab forces to, quote, govern Gaza properly. What exactly do we know about what he means by that?
It beats me, to be very honest. I don't know what he means by that, because there are no Arab forces that will be willing to take over. I mean, Mr. Netanyahu has been quite opposed publicly to the Palestinian Authority taking over in Gaza. And so in the absence of the Palestinian Authority, I don't see any other Arab forces being willing to come and take over the Gaza. And so I don't see that plan as being viable. I think Israel is facing a reoccupation of Gaza. Remember, Israel occupied Gaza from 1967 to 2005. And during that period, Israel spent billions of dollars, lost hundreds of soldiers. It was a highly divisive issue inside Israeli politics. And so Israel now is entering this arena again at a time when there are serious divisions inside the country over the country's policies in Gaza. And as John said, you are talking about Israel now occupying all of Gaza. It's already occupying 75% of Gaza. So the remaining 20 or 25% is where the hostages are. And it's assumed that there are about 20 Israeli hostages still alive. So you have you have the forum of the families of Israeli hostages who are, that's calling for wide demonstration, because they know that this kind of military action is going to be bloody, is going to be sustained, and most likely, unfortunately, is going to lead to the death of the remaining live Israeli hostages. But also, as John said, it's going to lead to ethnic cleansing. I mean, this operation cannot be done without ethnic cleansing, displacing the 2 million Palestinians who still live in Gaza.
Mr. Allen, given what both of you have just outlined there, what kind of international reaction have we seen, or what kind of international reaction can we expect in this moment, given what both of you have just outlined?
Well, as we know, international condemnation of Israel has grown, especially since the pictures of starving children have made it around the world. That condemnation should have happened long before, during an 11-week siege of Gaza, when no food, medicine, and water was getting in. But I think now Western countries may decide that further action is needed, sanctions of some kind, suspending trade agreements, suspending innovation and research agreements, perhaps sanctioning others. It's not clear to me what they will do. You know, they can withdraw ambassadors. But this seems to be a step that is, you know, 2 or 3 steps too far, frankly. I think one thing we've got to remember here is, and we forget it, that there was a ceasefire in place, and it was broken by Bibi Netanyahu unilaterally. Hostages were being released, and Palestinians were not being killed or starved. And it was broken unilaterally for political reasons. We are in war now for purely political reasons, so that Bibi Netanyahu's coalition wouldn't fall apart, so there wouldn't be a commission of inquiry, and so that he wouldn't have to appear in his criminal trial. And that's why this is going on. This is just an extension of a political decision that has caused the loss of Israeli soldiers, hostages, and, of course, many, many, many Palestinians.
Ms. Salim, you know, Canada, alongside the UK and France, they have sort of made their intentions clear that they plan to recognize Palestinian statehood at the UN summit in September, the General Assembly. If Israel does go ahead with this plan, what do you think it does to the push for a recognition of a Palestinian statehood?
Well, I mean, the recognition of the Palestinian state is an important step, but without it being accompanied by, as John put it, some real costs on Israel for its behavior, especially as it's now likely that's going to go into a protracted war and reoccupation and ethnic cleansing of Gaza. There need to be costs. So recognition is good, but by itself is a symbolic gesture. There needs to be, you know, sanctions. There needs to be economic costs on Israel. I mean, to date, most of the opinion polls in Israel show that more than 50% of the Israeli public is not concerned with the starvation that is ongoing in Gaza. I mean, we have now you know, not, I mean, in a way, it is Mr. Netanyahu, you know, doing what he's doing for his own political goals and the goals of his coalition partners, the ultra-nationalist parties. But also we have an Israeli society that's still not, in a way, in a major way, standing up to Mr. Netanyahu and imposing, you know, pressure on him to stop what he's doing. There are no political costs that he's incurring. And the one country that matters to Mr. Netanyahu, the United States, so far we have not seen Mr. Trump willing to impose these costs on Mr. Netanyahu that will change his calculus. We have seen Mr. Trump stand up or oppose Mr. Netanyahu in Syria, when the Israeli forces bombed the the defense ministry headquarters. We have seen Mr. Trump oppose Israel or part ways with the Israeli policies on Yemen, but we have not seen him so far do that on Gaza.
And Mr. Allen, that was where I was going to go next, and I was going to ask about the United States next. Given how Donald Trump, he did raise some concern about seeing some pictures coming out of Gaza about the starvation. He said you can't fake that. But in terms of joining any sort of, European or Western allies and sort of stepping up pressure on Israel to change its actions, that hasn't happened. If the U.S. doesn't get involved in that, does anything change?
Well, it's going to be very difficult because Prime Minister Netanyahu wants a green light or an orange light from the president, and he seems to have it. The president is concerned about the humanitarian situation because he's seen the pictures on Fox News, And he claims that he and Steve Witkoff, his Middle East negotiator, are going to do something about it. Not at all clear what they're going to do. They certainly have to end the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which has been a complete disaster. But he has basically given the Prime Minister the go-ahead on occupation. He said that that's up to the Prime Minister. Of course, this is being done with American weapons and with American support in other ways. But, I think your question is correct. Unless the United States says enough is enough, the Prime Minister will move. He's not going to move because Canada protests, and he's not going to move even if the EU protests, even though the EU is Israel's largest trading partner.
Okay, we will leave it there. Thank you very much, Jon Allen and Randa Salim.
Thank you.
Thank you.